Hi, I'm Elizabeth Van Tassel from ElizabethVanTassel.com, and I am so excited to welcome Wendy Speake to the Thorn and Vine blog. And Wendy, thank you for talking today.
Yeah.
And you've written a new book with Kelly Stewart called Life Creative, and it is a beautiful book on the outside, but it also just has stirred a passion in my life to kind of reconnect with creativity in new ways and to be open to that. And, how did you get started with that idea and then make your own dreams start happening?
Sure. Well, I have to say that I was living the life creative before I started writing about it. So my dear friend Kelly Stewart and I, we met right after we both married our husbands, and we were in a new city, so we were both looking for friends. And our husbands met first. And so they said, I think your wife and my wife would be friends. So they hooked us up. And Kelly was an author who was singing in the worship band, and I was an actress who was also writing and speaking, and we just found that we were kindreds. And so it started out very simply. We would get together at Starbucks at the Barnes & Noble in Frisco, Texas, and we would have chai latte and a maple scone, and we would dream together. Just dream together about all the businesses, the creative businesses we wanted to start, and the books we would write, and the ways we would decorate, and the parties we would throw. I mean, we were out of the box creatives, and we just saw how it permeated into all these aspects of our lives. So we threw tea parties together, and they would come over for meals, but mostly it was books. She's a fiction writer, and of course I was working as an actress, and I have dreams of writing screenplays, and so we just sit there and talk. And then of course we had children. So life creative really is it possible to be creative in the midst of motherhood? Because this dream come true of having children kind of intersects every other dream you've ever had, right?
That is very true.
So we started popping out kids, and all of our conversations changed from our dreams to nursing and potty training, and how do you fit lovemaking with our husband, not our shared husband, my husband, my wife, into the equation. And it's just
what was in that coffee?
Yeah. It's exciting conversations, but we stopped talking about the creativity. And then about 5 years later, she was living in St. Louis, I was back in California, and she flew out and spent a weekend without children. And I remember she sat on my couch and she just started crying. I've lost me. This feels like I'm in the dark ages, and I know that I love these people and I don't want to exchange them, but I've lost me. And so that really started our, Renaissance path together. And if you know anything about history, you know that the dark ages of history preceded the Renaissance. The Dark Ages were just simply when there was no recorded history of what was being made or what was being lived. So everything in our lives felt like it went dark. We had pictures of our children's precious faces, but our own dreams had gone dark for a season.
And that's scary, when you feel it eking away. And what would you say to someone in that exact slice of life? Maybe even, let's amp it up, they've had a crisis or an emergency, and I talk to a lot of women who want to do more for their family, but maybe they need a little restoration in their life. How would you tell them to just get that wheel unstuck that's been stuck for a while?
I think I would start by just saying, it's okay to get stuck. It's all right, you've done nothing wrong to be stuck, but life sometimes just gets stuck. And with Instagram and Pinterest and all that, you think that getting unstuck should be really beautiful. Like suddenly, you should
because you're aiming for that perfect.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't have to be.
Right.
I mean, it can just be, I have not been in the habit of making lovely meals for my family, but I'm going to start there. I have for the last couple of years been stuck, so I haven't brought out my Christmas decorations because I just can't get my heart and mind around it. Maybe you start there. I haven't knit or I haven't sewed, or I haven't, whatever that thing that used to bring you so much pleasure, I haven't done that. Start there. Just a beanie baby, a beanie for your baby, or something small that you can say, oh yes, I forgot. I used to enjoy this.
Do you think it helps to make a list of things you used to like to go to the coffee shop, even by yourself?
No, that's
maybe with
really
a friend.
interesting.
But to make I don't know, I'm kind of a list person.
Yeah.
And then consider it success if you handle one of them.
Yes, so I'm not that person because I'm constantly inspired with big things. So I'm like, let's go. If I have a little teeny sliver of time, like it just gets filled with something. However, I was speaking at a convention and I was doing a talk called Fitting Mom Back into Motherhood. And it was a lot of this is, just stinking simple self-care can get lost.
Right.
Getting to the dentist, you can get everybody to the pediatric dentist, but yourself, it takes a lot. So I was talking about self-care, and I was talking about soul care, finding time to spend time in the Bible or with other people to share your values and feed that soul. And the third is remembering what's special about you. What did you enjoy doing? How did God make you? So often we quote Psalm 139, I will praise you, Lord, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made, but we claim it for our children. Thank you for giving me my child who is fearfully and wonderfully made, but we forget that's first person. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And so I was talking about this, and that's really one of the main messages in Life Creative. And after everybody left the room, including the woman I'm talking about, room's empty, me, I'm picking up stuff and about to leave. This woman circles back in. She comes up to me, and she just starts crying. She said, I have no idea what I enjoy. It's been so long. I think she said, I've been homeschooling for 20 years.
Wow.
I've been busy. And if you had me write down that list, I would not know where to start. And so I brought out a piece of paper and said, do you like reading? I don't know. Try reading a book. Have you ever enjoyed just having good music on in your house? Yeah, but it's always the kids. Well, what did you used to like? Have you ever been to the theater? Do you enjoy going for a hike? And I just started asking questions, and she's still crying. She said, my biggest fear is that I'm raising my girls to not live passionate about something because I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. And I said, well, then maybe you want to share this list with your girls and say, let's come up with a bucket list.
Yes.
And really, it's not a bucket list like I want to do this, but I want to find me. Do you want to find you too? Let's do some fun things. And they don't have to be huge things. They can be, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
And if you have listeners that are stuck right now, maybe it's not remembering what used to delight you in the past. Maybe it's saying, what might be fun now? Maybe it has to do with where I was before. Maybe it's brand new. Because we morph. As life transitions, we transition with it.
Yeah, I have a son who takes a lot of encouragement to get homework done and to get the must-dos done in life. He'd much rather do the fun-dos.
Yeah.
And so one day I was too, but he is very, very competitive. And so I was trying to tap into that and encourage him, okay, we are going to write a little bit of a list, and then you can cross it off and we'll have a reward or something. And he said, Mom, I do not like this list. And I said, well, dishwasher's got to be emptied, whatever the practical things were that we were working on. And then at the very end, he goes, okay, but he writes in really big, F-U-N at the bottom. And he's like, Mom, what's on the fun part of the list? And I was like, oh, that is so good. And so now, every summer, we sit down at the beginning and kind of midway through the summer, and we make that list together with the kids. And that helps them in those moments where, yes, you're cleaning out the closet or, whatever practical thing you must do, to really to say, okay, wait, but we have pinned this and this is happening. Remember, we all agreed? Or even do a jar with, I'm sure you have many more ideas that people have given you, but
well,
I love that.
My co-author, at the beginning of every summer, she makes this big billboard, and it has all the practical things. She had rewards for any kid that sleeps past 7:30, you know, and there's different
Oh my gosh, I love that.
But she calls the board the summertime agenda of awesome.
Awesome.
And so they plan the fun. But you know what, as moms, we are really good at planning the practical, but also the passions of our children. And we get consumed with the practicals of our own life, and we forget to put our own passions on that list. This is not a message, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, but there is a little bit of wisdom in that. If mom isn't refreshed, it is so hard to be refreshing others.
That's true.
If mom isn't filled up, it's hard to be pouring out. If mom isn't passionate about life, it's really hard to like being with your mom. Because all you do is nap, right? Because it's all practical.
Yes, you're always hitting on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you may get the list done, but where's the life in that?
Yeah.
The life.
Well, and sometimes I look at myself and say, would I want to live with this woman? And there are seasons I would say, no, my poor family.
Rough. Yes.
Because I get a little bit single-minded on just the practical.
Now, have you found, for moms that have been through this already, that maybe their husbands are also, and maybe their creativity looks really different, okay?
Yeah.
For them, it's maybe just having permission to do whatever, something for themselves that they used to enjoy as well. But I wonder, has it translated to, like, beyond the moms?
No, this really is for moms.
This is for moms. But
However,
I think it's got to help everybody.
yes, and I have thought a lot about my husband is very creative. He decorated this room. I have people come and say, "Oh, this room is so pretty." It's like, "No, my husband." And he loves remodeling rooms. Build things.
He loves to build things.
So his creative thing is building things. And when he's running low, I think to myself, he's got to put his hand to something.
That's true.
So yeah, I guess it does translate. And of course into our children. There's a chapter, it's my favorite chapter in the book. It's called Renaissance Rising, because we can get so focused, you know, as we're like, I've got to fit myself back in, that we swing the pendulum the other way. But there's a Renaissance rising down the hall in the lives of our children. And then what can we do? I think, have you heard this term genius hour?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I love it. I think it was birthed with the good people at Google, that they found if they gave their employees, and I don't remember if it was an hour a day or an hour a week, called the Genius Hour. Make whatever you want. It is not your job. This is not checking something off your to-do list. That is your job to do. Just get out of the box and create. And it is fueling that creativity that makes them better workers. And I'm sure they come up with great ideas for the company too, but it just fuels them. And I've been thinking, we need Genius Hour for moms. We need Genius Hour for dads. So everybody stop what you're doing that's practical. And this isn't consuming TV. This is creating something. This isn't consuming, this is creating.
I love that. Not consuming.
So for the whole family. But I do know that if I'm feeding my creative life, if I'm making meals and I'm setting tables and I'm going out to the garden, and my husband built 4 boxes, raised gardening boxes right outside that window. And I'll take you in the garden.
I would love that.
You can't come along. But maybe we can take some pictures. So he made 4 boxes, so it's one for each of the boys and one for me. And then he planted trees on the level below. And the garden looks awful right now because it's the end of summer and we haven't planted for winter because it's too hot.
A slight drought.
But it doesn't have to look like, gee, I want to be a writer when I grow up, so I've got to be writing. It could be, I am a creative being, made in the image of a creative God, and I'm stuck. Maybe I should just start right where I am, in the garden, in the kitchen, in the holidays coming up. Start right where I am. Being homeroom teacher, I'm not homeroom teacher, homeroom mom, right? Room mom. Thank you. Obviously, I sign up for that a lot. Helping with the parties at school, decorating the church at Christmas. These are the things I used to enjoy. How can I fit them right where I am, out into the local community, and maybe even through the internet, out into the world with my creativity? I love making graphics, I love taking pictures, I love hand lettering, I love party throwing, take a picture, encourage other women. I mean, it's what you're doing. You're tapping into your creativity to do this and encourage the rest of us.
Well, and I love the idea of taking even the hard corners of life. And we talk about that a lot, about resilience. You know, but and making something beautiful out of something that has been
So
very
beautiful.
dry and very crackly. And yeah, you've broken it down to really great steps. I love that board, the board of awesomeness. Yeah, we've got to
The
try that.
summertime agenda of awesome.
Awesome. Now, what about, it kind of helps to have a few friends come along too. I'm sure that everyone can think of a friend who maybe would love to go to lunch and talk about something other than
Yes.
whatever the normal
A
thing
Kelly.
is.
You need a
Okay.
Kelly.
Yes. And so, how do you groom those in your friendships? Or do you maybe have a tea party and invite friends over and kind of tell them, hey, I read the most wonderful book.
Yes, you should all do that. You should all order this and then have a tea party and invite your creative friends.
I can do that.
Thank you.
But I'm thinking, how could I, not so much accountability, but make sure that I'm following through on something for fun and for
Yes,
beauty.
I get it.
How can I
don't know
groom
if
that
you can
occasion?
manufacture it. I don't know if you can go fishing for it. I don't quite know what that would look like. But
Like
I
a
bet if
retreat
you
almost.
think of someone or a few someones, you know who they are. You see them. They're the ones that are at church early decorating the sanctuary. They're the ones that are helping throw the tea parties. They're the ones who are helping in your child's class.
So nice.
You know, and then say, yeah, I'm going to have a gathering for my creative friends, and you're invited